The Story of My Parents, Chapter 3, The Nguyễn Family, 1955-1957. Shadows of Loss, Thanh Mai's illness in 1956. The early months of 1956 were quiet in Saigon home, but the calm was deceptive. The city itself had not yet healed from the wounds from 1954, and in our household, life seemed to teeter between joy and uncertainty. The children's laughter filled the rooms, yet beneath it lay the invisible threads of worry that always clung to my mother. Thanh Mai, the energetic 6-year-old, had always been the heart of the younger children. Her bright eyes and unbridled curiosity were a constant source of delight. But as the months wore off, a persistent cough began to sap her vitality. Fever followed, and soon the little girl, who once raised ahead of her siblings, lay weak and shivering in her small bed. In 1956, medicine was not as accessible as it would be decades later. Antibiotics were scarce, and hospitals could not always secure adequate care. My father, trained in veterinary medicine and now dedicated researcher of diseases, faced a cruel irony. He could save animals with a knowledge painstakingly acquired at school, but in the field, yet could do nothing to stop the illness that claimed his joy. Evenings became long, heavy with silence broken only by her labored breathing. My mother sat beside her bed, damp cloth pressed to her forehead, murmuring prayers. My father paced the corridor, heart tightening with every cough, unable to intervene. The day Thanh Mai passed away, the house seemed to lose its rhythm. Her absence was hollow, The mother clutched her child's tiny clothes, pressing her to her chest as though she could hold her soul there. My father stepped into the yard, staring up at the sky, feeling a sorrow that could not be put into words. His grief was interwoven with guilt, the knowledge that despite all his learning, he could not shield his daughter from the inevitability of death. In the weeks that followed, our home was subdued. The children felt the emptiness but could not comprehend it. Even the garden outside seemed muted, as if mourning alongside us. Thanh Mai's death became a turning point, a reminder of life's fragility and the silent motivation for my father to seek stability and security for the remaining family. My father's professional responsibilities required him to travel to Nha Trang. He had been selected for advanced training at the Pasteur Institute in Nha Trang, a center renowned for its work in medicine, veterinary science, and disease prevention. This period would be critical in shaping his career as a veterinary doctor. a role that would ultimately help him support our large family and protect the lives of many. Leaving Saigon was not easy. He traveled alone, carrying a small suitcase, but within it were the unspoken burdens of family, grief, and duty. As the train rumbled along the coast, he often gazed at the sea, reflecting on the daughter he had lost and the children he left behind. His letters home became lifelines, instructions how to care for the children, reminders about meals, clothing, and schooling. Remember to keep the children warm. The rainy season is coming. The cold spread quickly. I will return soon when the training complete. He wrote in one letter, folding it carefully before sending. Those letters were treasured by my mother. Each one was read and reread, a bridge across the distance that separated them. In the quiet hours of night, she would trace his handwriting with her fingers, letting it remind her that, even absent physically, he remained their protector. In Nha Trang, my father immersed himself in study. Days began before dawn and ended long after sunset, filled with lectures, laboratory work, and practical experience. He learned techniques to diagnose illnesses in livestock, methods to prevent epidemics, and ways to manage animal health, skills that would become vital to his work and indirectly to our family's survival. 3 months in Nha Trang were formative. They were a mixture of pride and longing, pride in his profession, longing for the family he could not touch. He often imagined the new life he would build in Dalat, a place where the children could grow safely and where grief, though never erased, could find room to soften. Searching for a home journey to Dalat. After completing his studies, my father was assigned to Dalat, the city of eternal spring, to begin his work officially. He arrived ahead of the family to find a suitable home, a place that could shelter us from both the physical chill of the highlands and the emotional chill of our recent loss. Dalat, in the mid of 1950s, was a city of contrasts. French colonial architecture, winding roads, and misty pine forests painted it like a European landscape transplanted into Southeast Asia. Morning fog clung to the hills, and the air carried the scent of wet earth and pine needles, and the lake reflected the sky in soft silvery hues. Life moved slowly here, yet under its calm surface lay the shadows of history. The country was still adjusting to division. The South under a new government, Republic of Vietnam, the North undergone radical reform with the communists. My father toured neighborhoods, accessing houses for size, safety, and comfort. He needed space for the aged children, a place for study and work, and the home that could offer solace. After much searching, he discovered a convent house at 21st 1 Yetsen Street, formerly home of the Sister of the Lovers of the Holy Cross. Its white walls and metal roof promised warmth. The rooms were spacious enough for our family, and the large front yard with 2-car garage and some space for gardening. Standing in front of the house, my father envisioned the children running along the paths, their laughter echoing off the walls. Across the street was the city library, a hub of knowledge and quiet reflection. Up the street of Yesen lay a grassy football field, a place where the boys could play and learn teamwork, and nearby the police academy stood, a symbol of civic order and safety. The church, nhà thờ Con Gà, was within 5-minute walking distance, a steady present for faith and tradition. This house would become the anchor of our new life. The high ceilings, wide rooms, and open spaces offer both comfort and hope, a stark contrast of the cramped, sorrow-filled rooms left behind in Saigon. At the beginning of 1957, the family departed Saigon for Dalat. The journey up the Brand Pass was long and winding. Mist rolled across the mountains, blurring the edges of the landscape. The children pressed their faces to the windows, enchanted by the forested hills and the unfamiliar cool air. Upon arrival at 21st 1 Yetsen, my mother felt a mixture of relief and trepidation. The house was spacious, but the climate was cold and damp. Rain often fell for days on end, soaking clothes and chilling bones. Yet the garden was alive, ready for flowers and vegetables, and the rooms, though bare, awaited the presence of the family, eager to claim warmth. My father immediately set about preparation for the house. He repaired floors, cleaned rooms, and mapped out spaces for study, play, and rest. The garden became a project for the children, who planted flowers and dug small vegetable plots, slowly making the house theirs. My mother orchestrated the household, keeping meals simple but nourishing, clothing dry, and spirits as high as she could manage. The house on Yetsen Street quickly became more than just shelter. It was a symbol of resilience. It represented a new chapter, one where grief could be honored but not allowed to dominate, where children could grow, and where love and care could fill every corner. The Dalat neighborhood, life around Yetsen. Living on Yetsen Street offered more than just a home. Across the street, the library became a heaven. Children discovered the magic of books, stories of adventure, history, and imagination that transported them beyond the misty hills. My father, proud for his curiosity, encouraged study and reflection, seeing education as a way to prepare them for a complex world. A short walk up to the hill led to the football field, a wide stretch of grass where the boys practiced running, kicking, and teamwork. Even in the mist and rain, the field echoed with their laughter. Nearby, the police academy loomed as a reminder of order and security in certain times. And the church, a short stroll from the house, offers solace, ritual, and continuity, a place where my mother's prayers could mingle with sacred songs of the community. The neighborhood itself was alive with small joys. Morning fog revealed glimpses of market activity, children walking to school, and neighbors exchanging greetings. Life was slower than in Saigon, but perhaps that was precisely what the family needed, a rhythm of allow grief to settle and hope to grow. Settling in, life in the highlands. The climate of Dalat demanded adaptation. Cold mornings and long rains challenged the family. My mother worked tirelessly to keep clothes dry, meals warm, and the spirits resilient. She hung shirts by the stove, pressed damp linens, and put warm sweater on her children before sending them to school. My father left early each morning, clocked against the mist, to begin his career as a veterinary doctor and the one in charge in the agriculture and veterinary department in Dalat. He inspected livestock, advised farmers, and ensured the health of the animals that communities depended on. Though the work was challenging, it filled him with purpose. People in Dalat called my parents ông bà thú y, Mr. and Mrs. Veterinarian. The children adjusted as well. They learned to navigate steep roads, play in the rain, and enjoy small adventures, collecting pine cones, chasing butterflies, or racing along the field. Though life was not easy, the beauty of the highlands, the scent of pine, the cool air, the mist-shrouded mountains brought moments of serenity that softened past sorrows. A new life, a new hope. September 1957. By September 1st, 1957, the family had settled into a rhythm. It was also the month of a renewal. A new son, Nguyễn Thanh Hưng, was born. He cried, filled the house with life once more, a living promise that sorrow and hope could coexist. The arrival of Thanh Hưng softened the shadow of Thanh Mai's death. My parents held him with gratitude and awe, their eyes reflecting both relief and determination. My father silently vowed to dedicate his life to protecting his children, to providing to them, and to creating a home where joy could grow alongside remembrance. In the misty streets of Dalat, amidst pine forests, church bells, and distant hills, the Nguyễn family carved out a sanctuary while the world beyond continued to shift politically, socially, and historically. Inside the walls of 21st one yet seen, love, resilience, and hope endure. Though thrift have left its mark, the family has begun a new chapter, a life of adaptation, community, and quiet joy, rooted in the house that would hold generations, surrounded by the city that nurture growth, learning, and faith. That is the life in Dalat. The new life begins with laughter, happiness. This is the end of chapter 3, to be continued.